All right, so hello, good afternoon. I'm going to press record. So there we go. All right, so I'm just recording this session so we can upload a high-res version. So thank you for your patience. As you will see, we were meant to start at 2 o'clock. It's now 3 o'clock. So I apologize for the delay. We had a few internet issues down my way. So I've been frantically, let's get out of here so this looks a little bit easier. I've been frantically trying to get a connection. So I now have this running off 4G, which ironically is a lot faster. So we are here. So thank you for those of you that were patient. I can see Dave and Tamara. Hello. And we're a little bit late, but we're good to go now. And this obviously will go up on the website on our YouTube site after this is done. So those of you that maybe couldn't come here for the time, it'll be able to have the playback there, and the link will be the same as well. So there we go. So today's session is talking about OBS. Okay, so that's what I'm using here. So if I go back running off 4G, which ironically is a lot faster. There we go. So what we're looking at is OBS. And now OBS is called Open Broadcaster Software. Okay, so that is the platform that I'm using to stream into YouTube. And it allows me to do quite a lot more. It allows me to set up multiple cameras and multiple sources, which I'll go through in a second as well. So you don't have to just do this to YouTube. When you go into the software, and I'll show you that a little bit later, it allows you to stream to a multitude of different platforms. So you can use YouTube, you can use Twitch, you can use a whole bunch, and you can actually stream to multiple as well at the same time. So it doesn't have to just be used for YouTube, but that's what I'm using it for. So we'll just head back. All right, so let's go to my live streaming setup. So this is the session that we had yesterday. We were talking about YouTube's version of live streaming. And so by default, their live streaming allows you to use the webcam and to use a microphone, and that's it. It doesn't allow you to use any other input device, okay? And which is fine. Like, they've actually have settings on the YouTube page to tell you how to use this software as well. So they're all for it. So what we'll do is we'll go through what we're using, how I'm using it, and a couple of options as well. So if we jump, if you go to, like I said, to YouTube's live streaming platform, it will have a bunch of links to ones that it recommends as well. And OBS is up there too. The one I like this. I find that it is simple to use. Visually, it's quite get donations and do those kind of things as you're doing chat, which is probably more Twitch kind of basis for that, other than YouTube. Though YouTube, you can get donations as well. So you can actually use it to make money. Obviously, that's not the goal for what we're doing. Here. So I'll just head back there as well. All right. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So feel free to download the software and try it out on your end. What you'll do is it will basically link to your YouTube account that you want to stream to, or any platform you want to stream to. So that's completely up to you. Like I said, it's perfectly, it's completely free. They do have some purchase options on there, but that's kind of geared towards streamers that are doing things like streaming games and stuff like that. And I'll show you that too. So let's head to it. All right. So the trick in doing this is showing you the software while I'm using the software to live stream. So we'll see how we go. But first, let's talk about the interface. So what you're seeing here is this is what I'm basically outputting. Okay, this is showing all my sources together, and this is the final screen, which is why you're kind of seeing a screen and a screen and a screen and a screen. Also, you'll notice that, well, I'm noticing that this is live. So as I'm talking, this is showing me exactly what I'm saying. And as we said yesterday, there is a 20-second to 30-second delay from this to YouTube. So if I jump back to YouTube now, to the actual live stream, which is playing here, and I unmute it for a second. Also, you'll notice that, well, I'm noticing that this is live. So there we go. As I'm talking, this is showing me exactly what I'm saying. And as we said yesterday, mute that back again. So you see it live here in your Streamlabs software, but it is kind of outputting 20 or 30 seconds behind. That's kind of what you're seeing up here. It's got a bit of a mini feed. It's showing stuff that's pretty old, so we can kind of like get rid of all those kind of things as well. All right, we'll skip those. So then down here, okay, we have our sources. They're kind of really important, all right? So they are the things that it is streaming from. So if I show you my video capture device, if we have a look, I can actually move that around. So what that is the device that's capturing video. Okay, so it's not capturing my screen or anything. That's my video capture. You can add multiple. So if I go in there it is there. So I'm using my webcam. Okay. You can also turn it off if you want to. You can configure the video, so we can go in here and it actually changes the settings for your webcam if you want to kind of change those through there as well. You can change things like the resolution, the frames per second, those kind of things. Again, all of this is kind of on default at the moment. So, or I can flip it around. There we go. I don't know why you want to do that, but you can. So that's your webcam, and that's classed as a video capture device. Now, you can have multiple. So I'm just using my laptop, so I've only got one webcam. But if we wanted to, we could set in multiple webcams. So you could have 4, 5, 6, as many as you'd like, as far as I can tell. And you can add those in as capture devices. So you might have this screen here of you talking. You might have another screen up here showing a different part of the room or a different classroom. Okay. I doubt you'd probably use it to show multiple angles at once, but what most people will use that for is they'll use that to kind of change between different angles. So I can be talking here, and then I might be talking about, well, let's go have a look at our laser cutting room. And I don't have to leave. I can just click, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever I've set that camera to, and then that will automatically switch to that camera. So you've got to remember you're doing this live, right? So you've got to have it all set up. So I can switch it between cameras on the fly, and it'll start streaming those sources. So that is your capture device, okay? If I hide that out, you can see I've disappeared, put it back, and I'm there. Image, so you can add an image to your template here. So I've just done a real basic, if I kind of move that around, that's just that kind of like stream starting an image with transparency. You could put, borders around it. You could do those kind of things as well. And you can kind of set up your screen as to how you want it to look at with those extra images too. So as long as it's got transparency, you can have them floating in different areas. So you can do that. Your audio capture device, if you want to use a mic, if you're using like a third-party mic or something like that, a better mic. I don't know how I sound. Feel free to let me know how I'm sounding. And then my display capture, now that is what's capturing my screen. Okay, so if I go into there, you can see it's capturing my screen here, and obviously my screen's running at 1080p. I can drop that res down if I want, but that's what's capturing my screen and going through. Now, actually, what I might do while we're doing this is I'm just going to go into my display settings, because that just reminded me. That's better. It's harder for me to see now, but currently at the moment, the way YouTube is broadcasting live and most streaming platforms is they are capping the streaming feed to 480p. So the resolution isn't great. So what I've just done there, and probably what anyone will have to do for the next month if they're live streaming, is I've increased the resolution of my screen so they look bigger on screen. So it's kind of trickier for me to navigate because it's kind of made my screen a little bit more condensed. Again, if you're using this on a monitor, this would be fine because your monitor's got a lot more real estate. So like I said yesterday, sadly, my Alienware monitor is still sitting lonely in our office. So that should make things easier to see. So there's your display capture, and that is your screen. You can see I can also hide the cursor if I wanted to. So they're your sources, okay? You can add more as well. If I click add, you can choose what kind of source you want to add. There's a whole bunch that you can do. Again, it's hard to see as I've done this, so I can kind of scroll down. Widgets are like, how can I describe a widget? Like kind of like a little interactive that you can add on there. So like a donation goal will actually count up with money that you're getting as you're getting donations, or subscription goals will show you a number of subscription feeds that you want. It'll kind of count up. So it's like a little animated widget that sits in the corner. I'm not using those, but these are your standard ones here. So we talk about image, color source. We're not going to worry about media source. So if you want to capture from another media device, browser source. If you want to have a web browser window open, you can use that. So all of these different sources here, you can switch between two as you go. So I'm not going to add any because I've got plenty. All right, so that's your sources. I feel like I'm talking about a restaurant. Now down here, this is your scene. So this is pretty clever. So what a scene is like a layout that you choose. Okay, so currently I've got what's called a live streaming scene. And that is set up like this. So I have my face in the corner, I've got the image, and I've got my screen being shared. Now, if I click on this one, there we go. I can jump between scenes really, really quickly. So again, it's really handy because you're doing all of this like live on the fly. So I might want to go, oh, now it's time for a close-up. My live streaming, I can click there. So scenes are really cool, and you can set up as many as you like. So I might set up a scene that is for, again, like the laser cutter. And so it has a different setup. It could have some images on the side here of, the laser cutter we're using and some safety instructions. And down here, I could have a live feed of the laser cutting room. And then down here, maybe every now and then we've chucked a GoPro in there. So maybe we could have a live feed from the GoPro. So you can set up all these different scenes and have them sitting there on the side here as well, which is pretty cool. So that's what your scenes are. I'll try to scroll down a little bit more. I'll see if I can move this. I don't want to hit that end stream button, that's for sure. Let me just kind of move that out of the way. If I can, I'll try and hide. Now I'm losing so much real estate on my screen. Let me do that. All right. So then down here, you have a few other options. So I'm actually recording this. So what recording is exactly that. It's now also recording my screen. So like we said yesterday, YouTube will automatically publish your live stream video. But because of the low res that it's doing it, I'm also recording this scene as well as a separate video. So I can upload that, and that video is at a higher resolution. So that's why I'm doing that. So you can record your sessions as well and have them sitting there too. So that's what that is. What we have here, replay buffer is kind of like a bit of a buffer for people that are scrolling back and forth. But probably the next one is to schedule a stream. So this is what I've been doing when I've been setting up streams for the following week. You can do that through here. So if I click on that, now again, hopefully this doesn't crash my stream because I am running a stream as well. So we'll see how we go. If it takes too long, I might just explain it instead of showing it. Let's close that for now. I'll just give it another go. Yeah, maybe I'll leave that because it might not like it that I'm streaming as well as trying to schedule the stream. But what that is for is so you can set those schedules of streams that are coming up. It's basically you type in the date and the time and you do your YouTube title and your blurb, and then you hit enter. And what that does is then that automatically sends that to YouTube so it's ready to go. And so what that looks like is, if we head back here, that looks like these are here. Okay, so this one I've scheduled for tomorrow, and so it has this already for you. So that way you can get, you can put it up on your YouTube channel. You can get people to start chatting. You talk about, set reminders, change the art, those kind of things as well. So that's why you have those schedules. If I just refresh this, this should look a little bit different now too. Cool, there we go. So now you can see that one is live. So we're going, and I've got 3 people watching. Look at that, I'm more popular than yesterday. So that's what your scheduling is, to kind of get them ready to go for tomorrow or the next day. I think you can have weeks in advance. It's completely up to you on how many you do. So let's head back. All right, that's your schedule. Obviously, there's a big button that says end stream. I'm not going to hit that. So that will end this stream. That's going into YouTube. Down here, these are my notifications. This is talking about any issues that you're having. This is because I'm recording this. Now I'm running off my laptop, off battery power, off a 4G connection, so it's probably dropping a few frames. That's what that's about, but it'll give you any other information that you need. Down here, okay, this is again talking about my stream. Now, YouTube does this as well. YouTube will give you a kind of a breakdown on what's going on, but this is kind of talking about how my stream is looking. So I'll clock that there. So I'm looking at this. I've got nearly 5,000 kps. So that, like I said yesterday, that bandwidth there should be 1080p or higher, but YouTube are capping that. But so you can change that if you want to. If you want to have a lower quality but faster stream. Right, I'll close that down. Okay, so let's have a look at everything else while we're in here. There's some pointless stuff, which is probably up here. So themes, if I can click across to that, again, it'll see how we go while I'm running it. Yeah, it's okay. So themes are, how you saw those scenes that I had? A theme is basically like pre-made versions of that. Okay, so if I click on something like this, those scenes that are already made. Okay, so you can use these if you want to. So maybe there's one that you really like. You could pick one and set it up. So all that work's done for you, like the whole setup and theming is already done. So you can choose those. And you pay for these, they're a couple of bucks. And that's where they're getting money from. Down here, if this comes in, it's a little cloud bot. So this is kind of like if you've used if you what's it called? What's the word I want? I can't remember. But basically, these little bots here, if you turn these on, basically what they're going to do is they're going to run in the background of your stream and basically stop things from happening. So, word protection. If I turn that on and run that bot, I can type a bunch of words in there and it will stop them being displayed or typed in chat, right? So there are a whole bunch of things that you can do to kind of protect yourself, and that's what little chatbots are. Slack is what I was trying to remember. And then finally, if we go down here, again, this is just a bit more of the things that you can get, like a little app store for things that you can get for OBS. And most of them, well, probably 90% of them, are geared towards gamers and video games. All right, we'll head back to have a Streamlabs account. And that's what I have up here. And it's kind of like linked into YouTube. And so I haven't set any of this up because I'm not planning on using it. But this is that monetization side of things. Okay, so from here I can do things like I can set up donations and my subscribers. And yeah, it's all about making revenue. But I'm not going to worry about that. All right, down here, again, this is your scene editor. All right, so I just made a real basic scene. But if you want to, they've got a whole bunch of these kind of little templates that are made for you. And then you just kind of click on this and drag and drop. And so you can make a scene and then you can use that. So I might drop bits and pieces in here to kind of create a pretty cool scene that's already set up. All right, let's keep going through. All right, I don't think I can go to Studio while I'm running a stream. So Studio is kind of like a way to also edit your streams and edit your videos. So once they're done, you can do some edits and stuff, real basic stuff. Help, we don't need to go. Log out, I'm not going to do because it's going to log me out of my YouTube channel. So let's go into settings. All right, so settings, pretty simple. Again, you don't really have to do any of this. It's only if you want to kind of change a few things. So with your stream, I'm not going to, again, I can't change that while it's working. But with your stream, that's where you choose where OBS is kind of broadcasting your stream. So I've already got it set on YouTube, so it's kind of broadcasting out to YouTube, and you sign in and you do your details here, okay, and you add in your key. Output is if you want to also record this, so that's what I've got set up here. So in my recording mode, you can see I'm actually recording it to a videos file. It's an MP4 video, so that's my separate video. If I want to, audio, same deal, you can kind of play with your audio, but all of this is just changing the kind of the resolution of your stream and screen. So again, a lot of the stuff I can't do as we are running a stream. Hotkeys, again, pretty simple. So if you're doing everything from the laptop, you want to be pretty quick. Instead of moving around and pressing mouse buttons, you can set your hotkeys up. So maybe, Shift R is record and Shift S is stop. You can set those up there. Again, advanced stuff, don't worry about that. That's just kind of color control. Game overlay, this is for video games, right? So it just means you can set this up for if you're doing game streaming. And that's probably all we really need to worry about. Notifications, they're on anyway. Appearance, I can do things like change the dock size and stuff like that. And face mask, I don't know what face mask is, but I haven't turned it on. Maybe I'll turn it on one day. But that's it for settings. Let's head back to my home here. Cool. And that is about it, really. Again, it's gone into my, finally gone into my editing here. So you can see I can do some basic editing on the fly. So I can do some real simple video editing of different scenes and stuff as I go through. So I'm just going to head back. I don't need to have that on anymore. All right, so let me just jump back. I've kind of had my head away from the stream for a while. Let's see how we're going. Hello, Tamara said hello. Cool. So there's my chat going there. So normally I probably wouldn't be in this space too much when I'm streaming because, again, I'm sharing my screen. So really I'll be in something else, like I'll be in Photoshop or I'll be in something like that as we're going through. So in fact, if I just start Photoshop, because that's going to be, I guess, the example for tomorrow, you'll see how this will kind of work. So you're seeing everything obviously as we stream, so you probably want to have this prepared before you go as well. Let me jump across back into YouTube Studio. All right, excellent. So now that we're back here, there are a couple of things that you need to use in your studio, and that is things like this stream key. Okay, so when you set up a video, be it a scheduled video that's going to start in a couple of days, every single video will have what's called a stream key. Think of it like a password to that video, okay? And by default, it's hidden, which is good because if someone sees that, that's like this very unique password. It allows them to use that and to kind of get on to that stream. So I get that key, and then before I start a stream in here, I paste that key into where it can be. You can't see that because I'm running it, but I paste that into the OBS software. And that way, when I hit start, it knows exactly where it's going. I'm going to this stream, I'm going here, and I hit basically go live through there as well. So that's what your stream key is. I talked about these other settings yesterday when I was talking about YouTube Live, but just in case you missed that one, what DVR mode is it allows you to have the stream running, but also kind of like having it buffered at the same time. So if someone jumped into the stream right now, I've only got a few minutes to go, but if someone jumped into the stream now, they would see exactly where we are. So if I, again, jump across to YouTube, let's have a look. There I am there. So if someone jumped in right now, they'll be here. But with DVR on, they can decide to go back here. Okay, so they're still watching it live because I'm still kind of live, right? And if you tap that, it'll jump straight to where the live part of the broadcast is. Okay, but it allows a viewer to still kind of watch it live, but also, you know, not miss out on anything. Okay, and the chat as well is also retroactive to that too. So the chat will kind of play as you're going through this session. The chat will kind of play through that as well. So you can jump back. If you've missed 20 minutes, you can jump back exactly where it is, and then you can catch up, or you can just jump straight to where it's in the live broadcast. So that's what that is. I'll jump back across here. Sorry, let's go to YouTube. There we go. So that's what your DVR is. 360 I talked about really briefly yesterday. But 360, if you had a 360 camera, like we have at the tech school, we've got the Insta360 Pro 2, the giant Death Star. We can set that up in the middle of the room, and you can live stream 360 video, which allows people to, as the stream's going, to look around and to see everything, right? They can see exactly what they can do 360. They can move an iPad, the device, and they can see everything. So if you're using 360 video, that's what that is for there as well. But that is probably it, really. I mean, it's super intuitive once you kind of know exactly what you're doing. If I'm going to cheat, right, and show you this, like this, I have a checklist before I start a stream because there are quite a few steps to kind of jump through. But once you know them, it's pretty easy. But it can be easy to also, I guess, mess up those as well. So what my little, my little cheat sheet here is saying is first, you know, I schedule the stream in OBS and I have that ready. Then I jump into YouTube, and then I go and set the, so that what that is once I've got my scheduled stream going, I'll then go in here and I'll start to play around with this and put my details in and change the thumbnail artwork. Okay. Then I've got, you know, set it for kids or not, which is important. If your stream is made for kids, and we're talking like 13 and under, you need to say that. You need to say yes or no. If it is made for kids, then it will disable comments, it will disable analytics, it will disable tracking, a bunch of stuff. So you have to say that. Then I've gone into manage the stream, get the stream key out of the stream that's going to be coming up, then copy that stream key to OBS, and then OBS hit go live. So I do have like I said, a cheat sheet of steps that I go through before I do a stream, just because there are, you know, certain ways to do things in a certain order as you go through Streamlabs. If you're doing just YouTube, if you're just doing just YouTube Live, you don't have to worry about any of that. You just hit go live and off you go. It's super simple. But when you're starting to do input devices and scheduling different times, it's a little bit hard. So I think they're all just as good as each other, really. But I just found this one a little bit easier to use. But yeah, download it, have a go. Or maybe I should switch to Daniel's big head, right? So yeah, download it and have a go and see how you like it. Like we mentioned yesterday with YouTube, you can set it up as a private stream if you want to play around with it, right? So no one can jump on it. So you have a private stream, which requires people to log in. You have an unlisted stream, which requires people to have an actual URL, which you can share, or you have a public stream like I'm doing now, which means anyone can kind of drop on and look at it. But yeah, have a play with it and see how you go. If you want to some more information on it and maybe want my cheat sheet and steps and those kind of things, just let me know. Shoot me an email, which is Daniel. What is it? d.garcia@bendigotechschool.edu.au. It's been a while since I've used that. But let me know, and I'm happy to have a chat with you more about how to use this. But I think the best thing is to just have a play and see how you go. But yeah, like I said, very, very powerful. I can't show you the other parts of it while I'm streaming because obviously it's all the stream set up. So the other parts that are in there that I might show you will be things like how you can set it up for different streams. So not just using YouTube, using it for Twitch or any other kind of streaming platform. Also how to make it go on multiple platforms at once and those kind of things. So yeah, I might make a separate video for that, so you can see that happening because I can't show you while I'm going live. But anyway, I was going to show you. There we go, Photoshop. So you can see here now I've got obviously Photoshop running here. This is how I would then do like tomorrow's stream. So I'm running straight from Photoshop. So the trick here is I can't really see anything. Like I can't, if I go back into my OBS software, the second I switch across there, I can't see all of this kind of setup. I can't see my widget. So once you're in here, you're kind of almost a little bit blind, I guess. But it should be okay. What I'm probably going to set up doing is I'll have my iPad next to me. And again, if you have multiple monitors, this will be a lot easier because you could have one monitor with your OBS software up the top and the second monitor with your screen displaying the content that you're recording from. So multiple monitors makes this a lot easier, but I might try and use my iPad for this tomorrow. We'll see how we go. And tomorrow's stream should be at the regular time. I don't think I'll have any issues. In fact, I might just stick with 4G because that worked really, really well. Okay, so that is it from this session. I'll jump across to here. And, oh, look at that. Yeah, you can use it for Facebook as well. And you can have a two-screen setup. That cheat sheet, that's from me, Tam. I'll email it to you if you like. It'll be different for every person. The steps are the same. The difference will be your YouTube channels and your stream studios and those kind of things as well. But the steps I'm using there are the same. But yes, Facebook is one of the options in terms of video sharing. Like I think it's pretty much every platform. Even if let's go into here, let's see what Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, there's a whole bunch of them. And like I said, you can do multiple. So if you wanted to stream to YouTube at the same time as you're streaming to Facebook, at the same time you're streaming to Twitch, you can do that all through one platform. So, whoops, I'm just going to have too many buttons on here. Let's jump back to my little chat. Cool. All right. And what you said with two screen setup, so yes, you can do that. So you can have one screen being the screen that you are working from. So you can. So for instance, if I had two screens, I would have Photoshop on my main screen here, and I would have the Streamlabs stuff and my setup and my chat on another screen. So that way I'm just sharing my Photoshop screen, but I can see what's going on as well. In terms of interviewing people, that's fine, right? Because it's all about sharing this screen. So if you wanted to interview someone, in fact, I could probably interview Cam right now. What I would do is that would be happening separate to my stream. So let's just say I wanted to interview Tam over Skype. Like that's fine because we'd be appearing on this screen here. So we would be having a Skype conversation while that is also being streamed because it's recording our screen. So you can do that as well if you really wanted to. But that'd be the easiest way to do that. Or we could have a Zoom chat, right? As this is kind of going live and recording my screen and putting it up there as well. You've got to bear in mind that when you start doing stuff like that, you might need multiple cameras if you want to kind of like have your kind of my face here plus, my face being shown to the other person, because with a laptop, you can only really have one webcam engaged at one time. So if I was doing a interview, what I would do is I'd be sharing my screen here. Yeah, that's fine. You can use another app while you're sharing the screen. That is not a problem. In fact, that's something to kind of be aware of, Tam, too, is that if you're sharing your screen, like your full screen like I have here, it'll share everything, right? So if you get a notification or a pop-up or, something that you don't want people to see, that's going to pop up on the side there. And that's why it's kind of, I guess, important when you're doing live streaming to kind of be aware of that. That's where, if we head back to OBS, that's where these scenes are going to be really helpful, okay? Because they'll allow you to switch between things. So I might have a scene here if I was doing an interview and I was just sharing. So you don't have to share your whole computer screen in your sources. As we go down to a new scene here, if I go into sources, I can choose to share just a browser window, or I can choose just to share, an app. So that way the whole screen isn't being shared. So if you did have notifications pop up, they wouldn't appear. So you can do that too. It's a matter of just kind of setting your scenes up for that to work. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, and okay for multiple cameras. Yeah, so you can have as many cameras. I don't know if there's a limit on cameras, but those cameras are just sources that you add. So if we go in here, I've got one camera because I only have one camera. But if I had multiple cameras set up, I could do that as well. So one camera could be capturing a different room, one camera could be capturing me, one camera could be capturing the office, those kind of things. And in fact, the cameras don't even have to be in the same vicinity. So we've got a camera that's sitting on the CNC machine. I could actually log into that and have that on my screen up here and share that too. That could also be a source because that's a webcam. That would be a browser source, so I can share that too. But this is probably getting a bit into the weeds, I'm guessing. I reckon have a play with it first, and see what you can do. You can start business doing online producing for people. Yeah, I don't know if the government would allow that. But yeah, so there you go. So that is OBS software. That's what we're using. And I'm going to thank you, Tam, and my two other people that were in this stream. I was chatting with my wife, and she seems to think that 3 o'clock might be a better time anyway, because of teachers. I think they're finishing at 3 o'clock now. So we'll see how we go. I find that the playback is generally a lot higher. So anyway. That is enough for today. Tomorrow is Photoshop masterclass, so a little bit different to these kind of impromptu half-hour sessions. It'll start on time for one, but that's an hour and a half masterclass on Photoshop, which we'll be talking about Photoshop. It's kind of an intro to Photoshop, so it will be introduction to the software, how it works, the interface, those kind of things. So that's this little guy here. So that'll be tomorrow. That'll go for an hour and a half as well. That's a much longer stream, and I believe that's 4 till 5:30. So if you head to the Bendigo Tech School website, you can book through Eventbrite there, just so we get the numbers. That would be great. Or of course, it'll be on here, ready to go. But if you could book through Eventbrite, that'd be really handy, because then we can help you out a little bit more. So that's it for me. So thank you very much. I'm going to hit end stream now, and then end the stream through YouTube, and we